Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. Today we're going to be playing around with a new bundle that's going to be in the May online exclusives. And it does come with some coordinating DSP, so we're going to play with that as well. And we're going to make a new to me fun fold. We're going to be making what they call a hammock card. And so it is a gatefold, but it's got this little floating element in the middle that kind of resembles a hammock. So I'm excited to be here and sharing my ideas with you. Let's get down to my desk. I found my cursor. Try to get out of the way and I lost it. Okay. So here we are. This is our card. Like I said, we have a standard belly band. And then this one floats in the middle. So it kind of hangs there. And this is our bundle. The designer series paper, I like to try to show you in person because the pictures in the catalogs never do it justice. And even getting just a sampling of something like participating in the product shares can be really great because it gives you a little 6x6 of each of the papers and then allows you to decide which ones you wanted to actually buy full packs of. So those product shares are only open for like another week and a half because as soon as the catalog goes live to the public, I will be ordering designer series paper. So lots of great patterns in this one. This is called Waterside Retreat and has gray granite, misty moonlight, old olive, pecan pie, pool party, and very vanilla. But I'm pairing it today with Lost Lagoon. I thought that went well with it as well because Lost Lagoon is a great complement to pool party. Okay, so we have the base. I chose a 12-inch piece of cardstock, and then I cut it down to 5.5. So this overall is 12, scored at 2, 4, 8, and 10. You could do 10.5 and then 2.5, and then meld them together in the middle down here to get your full. I guess you could do, it'd be 10 with 2.5, and the 1/2 inch would be the overhang. And you would put your overhang on the inside. Am I making sense with that? Maybe I should explain better. Okay. If you wanted to do this card and you didn't have 12 by 12 paper, take and cut this to 5.5. Okay, and then you're going to cut it down to 10. So since this is 11, I'm going to take an inch off. This will be 10 inches now. And then we're going to do 5.5 because we want the same height. And then we want to score it at 2. And have that little 1/2 inch overhang. This would be scored at 2 and 4, and then at 8. And since it's 10 inches, it would be 2 inches from this side. All right. So here we have our piece. And this piece, 5.5. Okay, and then we would put our tear and tape right along here, or you could use seal, but just some adhesive. And then I would put the seal on the inside. Oh, I didn't cut it to the right length. And then we would go this way and then go this way. So assuming I had cut that properly. that's how you would get a 12-inch piece using 8.5 by 11 paper. But we have a 12-inch paper here. Okay, so I'm going to score the two inside ones as valleys and the two outside ones as mountains. So that's going to give us this. Okay, then we have our piece for the hammock. This one is 3.5 by 8, scored at 1 inch, 2.5, 5.5, 7, and 8. In a similar fashion, we're going to make those inside ones valleys and the outside one mountain. Okay. And then it's recommended that you would want to go ahead and decorate the inside, because once we hang this in here, it's kind of going to be in the way. And so it's much easier to go ahead and add your designer series paper now before it's buried. So I have some outside pieces. Let's see. And I know I cut them in order, and then I always mix them up. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but I'm not going to do the two outside pieces yet. We're going to wait on those. And we're just going to do the inside. Now, when I did my original one, I used a really pretty scene. I don't know if you can see that, but that paper has this gorgeous scene. And I thought it was so cool to put it as a backdrop, but this is kind of large and it kind of covers it up. So this one, I'm going to be just using the straight background of the flying seagulls. This is such pretty paper, and it's great for masculine cards, but then also has some aspects of it that just could be very beachy and work for a feminine card as well. Oh, and I didn't mean to put that one, and I said that too, didn't I? Okay. I don't want to put that one down yet because we're going to use it to cover up the other piece. Okay, so since I put that down by accident, what I want is my take your pick tool. And I use this pointy end all the time, but this other end with the spatula is great for being able to slide under there and pop that off. Okay, so this is going to be our middle. And so I want to put that up here. And I want to put that one right there. And that's going to go together like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive here. And I'm going to kind of center it. And then I'm going to close it, making sure I'm square. And then I'm going to put my adhesive here and then close this side. So that's going to make sure that I am exactly matched up for my middle pieces. And then I can come back with these edges and place this over the top, and it's kind of going to bury those wings, sort of. then I forgot to cut my inside pieces. Okay, so this piece right here, the middle part is 3 by 3.5. So I'm going to make a mat out of Pool Party. Since it was 3, I'm going to make this 2 3/4. And then I said 3 by 3.5. So this is going to be 3 1/4. And 2.5 by 3. And I'm keeping it to 1/4 inches because I know you guys like that. But if you went 1/8 inch borders, you could have a smaller border with a bigger inside. But since I'm not going to stamp the whole chair, it's okay that it's not really big. So I'm going to bring in my stamps. And we're going to be stamping the chair in Pecan Pie. Our sentiment, here's to a new chapter. I'm going to do that one in Lost Lagoon. And then I have the pampas grass for along the bottom. I'm going to do that in Old Olive. And then I need my blending brushes because we're going to do a little bit of ink blending for both of them, for the inside and the outside. So this will be my inside, and then I had the outside piece here. There you go. Okay, for both of them, I'm going to do crumb cake for my ground, and then Pool Party for the sky. So I'm going to bring in crumb cake. And I have just a little Post-it note because I like to start off my project in case there's any kind of a harshness to it. And then I'm going to come on to my cardstock. Okay. And I love the glass mat for this because it's really smooth, and then it's going to be easy cleanup because all I need to do is use my Simply chamois with water, or the gray chamois that comes with it, to clean that off. Okay, now I need Pool Party. And I'm using that as the sky instead of balmy blue because it's going to match the colors in our DSP and the cardstock we're using. Okay, so I'm going to go a little light. Right. And voila, just like that, we're all cleaned up. Okay, along the bottom, we're going to do Old Olive. And then we're going to use our chair with pecan pie. And normally we would look at this chair and go, oh my gosh, it's way too big. That's never going to fit. But it will if we just kind of let it hang off the edge. I think we're still going to get the idea that there's a chair there, but it's not going to take up too much real estate on our cardstock, giving us plenty of room to do the sentiment. So I'm doing that in Lost Lagoon, which will show up nicely because it's darker than the pool party we used as our sky. Oh, and I meant to say relax there. Okay. That's why paper has two sides, right? Oh, and I did pecan pie. Okay. My mind is in another spot. I apologize. I've been filming the Winnie the Pooh class, and I think my brain is still over there. So I am so sorry I'm being flaky today. All right. So there's my 3x3. I want crumb cake. And pool party. So once again, I'm going to rub my blending brush over my ink pad, kind of rubbing it all over. I tend to concentrate a lot on the outsides because it helps move the ink around. Rub off on some scrap paper. And then come in. So do you guys do much blending with the blending brushes? Have you played around with those yet? And do you have the full-size ones or do you have the little mini ones? Because we have smaller blending brushes as well. So there's two different sizes. Almost back to where it was. Okay. On the outside of the card, we meant to do relax. That thing I'm not doing right now. So I'm going to, because it's words, I'm going to line it up on my grid paper, or grid lines, then line the block up on the grid line, and then the paper up on the grid line. Hopefully all of that keeps us straight. I think this just makes a beautiful retirement card. Just seems so relaxing to be out on the coast, Waterside, as it says. So see, there is with the 1/4 inch borders, and here is with the 1/8 inch borders. So very similar, just a little more white real estate there than here. Okay, and now we're ready to start on our belly band. So normally I do belly bands out of cardstock, but this time I'm going to do it out of Designer Series paper. So I'm going to take my card, and I want it to kind of meet up in the front, fold around here, and then fold around this way. And that's going to be just a little bit too long, so I know I want to cut about 3/4 of an inch to an inch off of the front. And there are ways that you could score it, but it would not be at, 4 inches exactly in the middle, because it's a little on the thick side. We would need to measure over a little further to allow for that inside. So it looks like it would be scored at approximately 3 inches and approximately 7 1/4, maybe a little over 1/8. And then where it overlaps here, that's where I'm going to put my adhesive. So in order to keep it close to the edge and not have it run over, I'm going to put it on the edge right here. And then I'm going to put it on this edge. Okay, so that's going to be our belly band. And then our focal point over the front is going to be this. So I have 3 1/4, 3 1/2. So I need my 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 out of Lost Lagoon. All right, now the Lost Lagoon layer is going to go down first. So that's what's going to get the adhesive. Again, more than I usually use, but because it's going to get lots of tugging, I want that good and stuck. Then I'm going to take my white layer, and we're going to put that onto the pool party layer. And then I'm going to pop that one on with dimensionals. And then we're going to do some stamping and die cutting, and we're almost done. So has anybody done a hammock card before? Is this new? Have you seen it? Talk to me a little. So I know I'm not here talking to myself, because there are hazards of that, you know. Okay, let's bring in some pecan pie. I'm going to go ahead and stamp in pecan pie. And then I'm going to use Pool Party cardstock and Lost Lagoon ink in order to do our coffee cup. So we'll bring back in this, a little tiny block for our coffee cup. When I have really big stamps like this, I do like to take my ink pad and just flip it over and bring my ink pad down to the stamp instead of the other way around. And our new ink pads are great for that. They have a narrower case, so it allows you much easier to grab hold. And somebody had mentioned to me they were worried about losing the base. You know, once you took it off, where would this go? Well, they go together like that. So then it could just sit on your table and the base is with it. And they're still going to store in Stampin' Up! Fashion, in that when we store them with the label up, our ink pad is actually upside down, so it's making the ink pool on the top, which is nice. I'm going to pull out the coordinating dies. I love that the dies and the stamp set now have the same name. Makes them so much easier to find and pair up. Okay, I'm just going to run this through on a wish and a prayer, but you might want to use a Post-it note or some washi tape, something to hold that in place. Something of a low tack. There's our coffee cup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down on my card. Come on, I'm not doing a good job at snapping that off today, huh? The key to seal is making sure that it breaks off up here at the tip. Because when it breaks off any lower, number one, when you go to roll again, it's not going to be up here at the tip where it's touching the table right away. And it's also going to grab onto the case down here, which we don't want it to do. Put our coffee cup on with a mini glue dot. And there we go. There is today's hammock card. Does anyone have any questions? Looks like it's new to most everybody over here in the comments. So that's fun. I like to bring new things. Okay, I don't see any questions. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. If you did sign up for my Winnie the Pooh class, that silly old bear, I've gotten a few products in. So the first few people who registered will get a kit soon. Those of you who ordered just the PDF tutorials and the videos, those will be going out shortly. I've got them halfway filmed. So within the next day or two, that email is going to be going out to those of you who just got that version, and then I'll add it to my store too. So if you want to grab that after the fact, you can. So there's still time to get in on it if you want to order all the pre-cut materials. You get all the cardstock pieces already pre-cut and ready to go in an envelope with that part of the class. And you get the DSP and some embellishments, all that good stuff. Check it out on my website under online classes. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.